Hi, I'm Cindy Ramirez, and welcome back to Sid Talks. So, in this episode, I actually reflected and I literally had a mental breakdown just like, what, 30 minutes ago or so. And this time, I'm going to be talking about eating disorders because I recently realized I had one. And it's crazy. I never expected that I would have an eating disorder because, when you see an eating disorder, I specifically picture what the media has fed into my mind, where it's like you're either in a hospital gown, very skin bony and everything, or you're very obese, one or the other. And it never occurred to me that there's a lot more symptoms into eating disorders than I had imagined. Of course, they're not portrayed in the media. Sorry, they're not portrayed in the media that I specifically watch. But not that I ever seen anything else. As I'm If you guys haven't watched my old video, that's cool. But in my last video, I was talking about what's my last video? My last video, I was talking about how I was changing up my diet, and in that diet, I started swapping out a lot of the heavy food that made me feel very heavy in my body, and switched it out for more at-home food. Not only that, but also just choosing better options when I eat out. So like instead of McDonald's, I would just go for halal food or something with rice, beans, and chicken specifically, and spinach, so stuff like that. And I lost like 10 pounds from that. Very happy about that. I did gain some of the pounds back because of Halloween. And what can I say? Halloween candy is very, very tempting. But that's very common in the holidays. I am planning on working out because of this soon. But instead of how I said before, where I would constantly push myself into working out consistently for a whole week and then drop it completely the next week or the week after, and my excuses being like, oh, I have something else to do over and over. What I decided I'm going to do is that I'm just going to work out once a week. Just once a week for this whole November. That's my goal, is to just work out once a week for the whole month. Not the whole month, but like all of November. So, and if I end up working out twice a week, that's amazing for me. I'll be very proud of myself. But I am not pressuring myself to do that. I'm acknowledging and accepting that once a week is sufficient enough. And I should be proud of that regardless, because it's still a step forward and not a step back. Now, sorry. Because I realized my relationship with food was toxic, I didn't realize what I had was actually an eating disorder. I talked about some symptoms I had where I would starve myself for many, many hours, sometimes a whole entire day. I wouldn't say 4 days, because I think the most I did was 2 days before my parents forced me to eat something, whether they realized that they forced me to eat something or not. So I am very thankful for my parents for making me eat something, because otherwise I would have forced myself to starve longer if I could. However, that would lead to me binge eating, because I'm like, well, I already starved this much. Might as well just eat that hot dog. Might as well just eat that another taco. Like what's the harm? Like I starved myself for a whole good 24 hours or so, or a blank amount of hours. I deserve this. I earned this. Yeah, let's not do that again. It's Having an eating disorder isn't what I imagined, because like I said, my projection of an eating disorder is extreme. Therefore, I never thought that, oh, just me starving or me wearing a waist trainer, or me just simply hating my body and forcing myself not to eat, or overeating, for not eating, was an eating disorder. I never thought I had one. I just thought I was just dieting, that I was just having control over my body. But the thing is about an eating disorder is that it's a false sense of control, because you think you're controlling what happens to your body, but in reality, it's scary. It was scary for me at the time, and I'm sure it can be pretty scary for others out there who have an eating disorder as well. Eating disorders aren't a little tee hee ha ha, like, oh, I'm so cutesy, I'm so petite, I'm so big. No, it's a serious matter, and I feel like because of the lack of portrayal and imaging that there is around it, and exposure on it, some of us can mostly see it as either binge eating or starving entirely, never in between. But what I'm telling you is that there are many more symptoms than we expect it to be for an eating disorder. Hence, my experience. I didn't realize I had an eating disorder from the age of, I believe, 12 to now when I'm 19. I may not look like what the media portrays as someone with an eating disorder, but I had one, and I am currently still overcoming it. It is not something that goes away overnight. This is process from months of me trying to love my body. And while it's hard, pardon me for tearing up, but while it is hard, it's something I want to work on. I didn't realize it until now that I'm healing, that it's like, wow, I was messed up in the head a bit, but I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not disappointed by it because I did what I did, what I thought I had to do. I was young. I hated my body, and I thought I could control what my body is. And I really hope that to anybody who's struggling out there like I was, that they are able to overcome these challenges and difficulties also. Like I said, it's not easy. It's not something that goes away overnight. This is something that takes time to overcome. And yes, there are setbacks. Trust me, I know there are setbacks. I had days where it's like, I feel like binging. I feel like eating nothing. And sometimes it's like, I don't want to eat anything at all. And it's hard. And that's why it is very important with the people that you surround yourself also. Because my mom, she makes me eat. Whether I have a choice or not, she makes me want to eat. And by the time I started taking a spoonful, I'm like, wow, I was actually starving. I'm going to eat this whole plate up right now. And I very am very, very thankful for my parents because thanks to their supervision, I didn't do anything extreme. And I really hope that the people out there also have people that loud, sorry, that look out for them in ways they couldn't have thought of. And once again, this is all just kind of random. And in the moment, I didn't think I was going to be making a video about this because I didn't know I had this until 40 minutes ago. So this was an experience and this was a time. But sincerely, I really do hope that everyone out there watching this feels better and know that, sometimes we don't realize these things until we overcome them. Overcoming challenges is difficult, but once you do it and you turn back and you see how much process you made, it's just shocking. You're like, wow, I really did all this. It's like when you walk up a hill and let's say you're like halfway up and you didn't even realize how far you gotten, or like, okay, random, but it's like when you're wearing heels outside in the cold and you just walk a good long distance. This happened to me a bunch. And like you turn back and you're like, wow, I walked all that. I would have never imagined that. Not in the heat. And it's kind of like that. There's no shortcuts to this. There's tips. There's help out there for those who also suffer from an eating disorder. And I highly, highly, highly suggest that you guys go and check out some resources. Always Google. Always, I was gonna say Wikipedia. Maybe not that. At least check the sources of Wikipedia, because then that's a loophole. But please take care and enjoy the rest of your night. This has been Cindy, and that was Sid Talks.